Namaskar. Welcome to Conversations with Rakesh. I was part of a group of people, entrepreneurs, who met, and the audience asked all kind of questions. And somebody asked me that you talk a lot about movies. What are the best movies entrepreneurs should watch? And I thought that was such a good question that I'll take up today. Entrepreneurship is a very different beast, and I have learned it firsthand after starting School of Meaningful Experiences. It is also one of the most delightful phase that I have experienced in my life. So I thought I will give you few movies that have lots of messages, but there are some common themes. I've picked up movies which are very positive because in this journey of entrepreneurship, you need positivity to support you. It is not for the faint hearted. The chances of failures are so high that I think we all know that 9 out of 10 companies don't survive. So, what I'm not going to do is give you movies which have, very sad tones. I'm going to give you movies which are positive because you need that positivity to continue as an entrepreneur. Otherwise, it's not going to be easy for you. The second is the movies come from variety of backgrounds, and each of these backgrounds have something very meaningful that I picked up from my entrepreneurial career. And the last is they are entertaining. And all of you entrepreneurs, please remember, all of us are human beings. We need entertainment as well. So I'm going to give you my 5 best movies that I enjoy watching and gives me my positive direction for my entrepreneurial journey. And I hope you also continue on that path. And here they are, one by one, as we go forward. The first one, which I probably might have said earlier in some of my videos, and I'm going to repeat it, is a movie that has a message that it's never too late to start your entrepreneurial career. And that movie is called The Fastest Indian. This movie is about old man, Burt Munro, played by legendary actor Anthony Hopkins. And he has a dream. He has an old bike, which is the Indian, which is from 1920s. And the time that he's living is around 1968 or 70s. And he just loves to take this old bike, which is designed to run only 35-40 miles an hour. And he wants to push it and take it to 100 plus miles an hour. And he has a dream to take this bike to a place in America where there is a competition and they measure the speed braking limits. So he wants to take this bike there and become the fastest Indian. And what a delightful movie. In this journey from New Zealand, where he stays, to America, he suffers hardships. When he reaches there, he suffers hardships. But he fulfills his dream and runs that bike and becomes a world record holder for that category, which is probably there till today. So whenever all of you who are thinking about entrepreneurship, somebody tells you or you have a thought that I'm old now, I don't think I can do this, watch this movie. I started School of Meaningful Experiences at the age of 44. And I don't think, age is a criteria at all. So if you are 40, 50, 60, 70, it doesn't matter. Become an entrepreneur if you really want to do that, and watch this movie so that it inspires you to start your own entrepreneurial venture. So that is my first recommendation, The World's Fastest Indian. Second, this was a delightful find in the pandemic. Thanks to the pandemic, all of us were cooped in, and I started to watch a lot of movies by Studio Ghibli. And if you have not watched any of their movies, please do so right away. And pick up this one movie if you are looking for inspiration to continue your entrepreneurial journey. This movie is called The Wind Rises. And it's based loosely on the true story of an engineer called Jiro Hirokoshi in Japan, and his designs of planes. And what a delightful animation. Anyway, Studio Ghibli is my gold standard for animation. And this movie really inspired me. And my message to all of you is that this movie teaches me and inspires me to be in love with your dream. Jiro Hirokoshi has a dream of making amazing planes. And he's so much in love with that dream that he keeps working at it. And despite the hardships and the problems he encounters, he makes it happen. And I must tell you that entrepreneurs, every day is going to be a challenge. The only thing that can push us is that if we love our dream and our vision, I think we'll be able to sail it through. So watch this delightful movie called The Wind Rises, a story of an engineer called Jiro Hirokoshi, Studio Ghibli, where he is inspired. He actually wanted to be a pilot, but because of his short-sightedness and thick glasses, he can't. So he instead reads a book on a person who designs plane, an Italian, and that inspires him to design planes on his own. And the story is about how he is commissioned by the Japanese government along with Mitsubishi to create a new plane which was used unfortunately for the wrong reasons, but it's such an inspiring feel good movie and the brilliant animation of Studio Ghibli. So second recommendation, be in love with your dream like how Jiro Hirokoshi is in the movie The Wind Rises. So that's my second recommendation. My third recommendation is this amazing feel good movie, three movies, Oceans 11, 12, 13. But I must tell you, um, as an entrepreneur, you can't do anything alone. You need a team, you need a tribe. And there is no better example than Oceans 11, 12, 13, where these group of 11, 12, 13 people pull off an impossible task. Just because each of them are different, they complement each other, they come together and they pull off a heist. And delightful movie, full of ups and downs, cinematic masterpiece. My favorite scene in that movie is in Ocean's 11, the first one. They pull off this huge heist in one of the toughest casinos in Las Vegas, and in the end, they watch that casino, I think it's the Bellagio. They watch the Bellagio's fountains, and there is a beautiful piano music, Claire de Lune playing, and they nod at each other because they've pulled off the most impossible task, and they celebrate by just enjoying that music, looking at each other, and each of them go their separate ways. And my message to you is build a tribe. For an entrepreneur, you need people who complement you. Get the people. They may be wacky, they may be terrible in their own personalities, but together when you come, you create a masterpiece, and that is very critical for your entrepreneurship. So Oceans 11, 12, 13 with the message, build a tribe if you want to be an entrepreneur. The next one, this one is an Indian movie. I think I've quoted it many times, Rocket Singh Salesman. But this movie has a very important element for entrepreneurs, which is you need to hustle. You need to have the skill of salesmanship. And Rocket Singh Salesman was a delightful script. A young boy who is not a good student, gets into a company as an intern, starts to sell computers, hustles his way around and finds a meaning in his life. And the movie has various connotations of failure, rejection, but the true part of the movie, at least what I connected with, and in India, very few movies are made like this. We need to sell, we need to hustle. I meet so many people who have great ideas, but because they can't hustle, they can't sell, they don't like it, they feel it is not, a good thing to do. I must tell you that entrepreneurship is all about hustling and selling. And if you can't even sell your idea, can't even sell your business, can't even hire people to come and work with you, I don't think your entrepreneurial dream is going to go anywhere. So please watch Rocket Singh Salesman that teaches all of us how to hustle. And the last one, this one is a lovely movie which connects food. It's called Julia and Julia. It talks about the frustrations of your journey. Julia and Julia is about two ladies. Both of them are called Julia. One of them is a very famous cook who published one of the most popular book on French cuisine for Americans and English reading audiences, Julia Child. So one part of the movie is on her story, and the other part of the movie is a story of a New York resident who loves Julia Child's recipe, is in a job, has a husband, and decides that I'm going to start blogging about food because that's where her passion is, and take one recipe of Julia Child, make it for her husband and herself, and blog about it. And she hopes that she'll become a good blogger and find her calling. And the movie is about their frustrations, that how every day, despite failing, they still wake up, do what they have to do, spend many years. Julia Child, I think she took 8 years to publish her book. Not easy. And this other Julia writes a blog, nobody reads. Again writes, nobody reads. And she goes on for 365 days because she says, I'm going to make 365 dishes, write 365 blogs, and won't stop. So my last and final message to you is that I think all of us as entrepreneurs have to deal with challenges. Movies like Julia and Julia will inspire us to keep going. Every day will be some kind of a disaster, but let's wake up the next day, not give up our dream, and hopefully find a calling and meaningful existence. So let me summarize the 5 movies for entrepreneurs. First, it's never too late to become an entrepreneur. Watch The World's Fastest Indian. Second, build a tribe. Watch Oceans 11, 12 and 13. Third, be madly in love with your dream. Watch this movie called The Wind Rises by Studio Ghibli. Fourth, learn to hustle. Watch Rocket Singh's Salesman. And fifth, learn to deal with frustrations and watch Julia and Julia. Entrepreneurship is challenging, but I must tell you that if you have your heart and soul into it, and if you are focused on your dream and you'll make it happen, you have a good tribe, you're able to deal with disasters with a smile, you're able to make things happen with hustling. And I think at the end of the day, it will be meaningful for you and the people around you. So on that note, share more movies which can inspire all of us to continue our entrepreneurial journeys. And on that note, stay safe.